Hello everyone, welcome to 3ddesignacademy.com. In this lesson, we will continue with part 180 of constructing the car project. Okay, so just continuing on from the previous lesson, I'm going to be working on some fillets. I believe I should be working on this part over here, so I'm going to try to do that. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to duplicate over here like this. And unfortunately for this part, I don't think insert is going to work because if I do this and just insert, it's just going to skew like this. So in this case, I'll just duplicate it like this and just project it using the curve over here. Now that said, however, well, actually, I think this should be okay. I know the CV structure is a little bit off, but I don't think it should. I don't think it's going to create too much problem. So let's try it out. So I'm just going to project it like this. I'm going to delete the curve and I'm just going to convert this piece over here. I think the CV structure looks pretty decent, so I think that's good. Okay, so I'm just going to hide this piece over here, and now I'm just going to align this piece over here. So let me grab a line. I'm just going to align it over here. It's going to be edge, and I'm just going to make sure that this is also curvature over here. It's going to be partial over here, and let me just make sure that it is curvature, still curvature over here. It looks like it's not, so let's find out why. So let me just grab the curvature continuity, surface continuity tool, show max label, show comb, turn those on, and I'm going to see what's going on. Now, I'm going to guess that because of the trim convert that there was a slight change in CV structure. So let's see if I can get this lined up. So I'm just going to delete the construction history over here, and well, because it's only a little bit, maybe I'll try to just hand manipulate it. So I'm going to say 5,000 in UV, and I'm just going to drag it like this. Oh, okay, so that's pretty quick. All right, so that looks good. Okay, so on this part, this one, I don't know if I really, well, actually, I think I should. I'm just going to convert this piece also. Well, let me just untrim this piece like this. Let's see, untrim it like this. And I'm just going to delete the carbon surface that's over here, and I'm going to convert this piece over here like this. Okay, so I think that looks good. And I'm just going to hide this piece over here, and I'm going to untrim this piece over here like this. And actually, I'm going to delete the curved surface over here, and I'm going to trim it. Let's see. What? Oh, okay. Let me just re-grab that. Okay, so that looks good, and I'm just going to align this piece also. So I'm just going to align this piece over here. It's going to be edge on both sides. Okay, so it looks like that's it was a good thing that I did that. Okay, so that looks good, and I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. I'm going to project over here, and I'm going to project over here like this, and I'm going to, well, actually, let me just change the shader. Let me trim here and trim here. I'm going to delete the construction history over here, and just going to make sure that everything's still curvature. Okay, so that's good. And now let's do this one over here. So I'm just going to create a blend curve on the end like this. And I'm just going to make sure the direction is good like that. And just using square tool. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so 1 is going to be curvature, 3 is going to be curvature, and 2 is going to be curvature. Now this is going to create a lot of spans, so I'm just going to go over here, collinear option 1, 2, and 3, and looks like we got single span surface, curvature on all sides. That looks pretty good. All right, I'm pretty happy with that, but I just gotta make sure that it is also curvature over here, so let's do that. So I'm just going to untrim this piece over here so that we can combine this back into one piece, because we separated it in order to create this piece over here. So let me just project using the surface edge over here, and it's curvature, so that's perfect. So it's actually working out pretty well. I was kind of concerned that it might be a little bit off, but it looks like it looks pretty good. All right, so that's done. I'm just going to delete the construction history over here, and now let's just work on this piece over here. Now, it does look like this might be a little bit problematic over here. I'm guessing because of the angle that it might not be curvature. It's not even tangent over here. Okay, so if that's okay, so let me just try to adjust this one. So as you can see over here, surface fillet is not the perfect tool. So sometimes the continue can be a little bit an issue. And as you can see over here, looks like it is a bit of an issue. Okay, so let me just try vector. Okay, so I think I need to actually fix this one. So I'm just going to do this. And I'm going to untrim this piece over here and untrim this piece over here. Delete the curved surface on both sides. And I'm just going to project a line like this. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I'm going to say normal. Looks like normal works a little bit better. If you can see how it changes over here. So normal's a little bit better. So let me just, let's see, go to this side. See if normal works better. A little bit, but I guess the biggest problem is the fact that this is still not lined up. So I'm going to have to see what I can do in order to get that sorted out. The problem is that the tangent deviation is quite big. It's 0.5. So let me just try aligning it. So let me just try it again. Oh, there we go. G2. Okay, so that's failing tangency. Oh, not position, but I want tangent. Okay, so it looks like it's a failing curvature, but this, because of the angle, this might be our limit. So, but let me try if I can make a little bit more improvement. So, first of all, let me just check this. Okay, so it looks like it's failing curvature on both sides. Now, this is not desirable, but at least the highlight looks pretty good. So I will say if I cannot make it curvature, I will say still pretty good. That said, however, I would like to get this as close as possible. So let's try that. Okay, so if that's the case, well, first of all, let me... Okay, so G2, that's gonna fail it. Okay, so let me just try this side like this. So at least we got curvature on both sides, but the problem is it's failing tangency. So I'm going to try and see if I can at least get the tangent over here. So I'm just going to align a tangent over here like this. Okay, so, well, a little bit better. Let me just delete the construction history over here. And I'm going to just grab these two and try to get a little bit closer. So it looks like that's going to start failing tangency. So I'm just going to deselect this one and just move this one. And looks like it's going the other way. So I might try... Yeah, I think because of the angle, that's probably the limit. Okay, so if that's the case, I'm just going to leave it. It's a tiny fillet anyways, so I'm just going to say that's good enough and just move on. Now, I know this looks funky over here, but I think that's probably a tolerance issue. So let me just grab these grab these surfaces. And let's see, 0.001, and looks like the highlight looks highlights pretty clean. Okay, so let me just turn that back to 0.01 instead of 0.001, and let me just do this part over here. Okay, so this one over here, I'm going to say chord G2. I'm going to try this and see if it'll make it. Okay, so it looks like even the shape is completely different. So I'm going to say that's a no-go. So I'm going to have to rebuild this. So if that's the case, I'm just going to, well, first of all, let me just, oh, okay, so that looks weird. Okay, so if that's the case, I'm just going to grab a curve over here, like this, degree 2, do the same thing over here. And I'm just going to align these curves, curvature to here, and curvature to here. And I'm just going to project over here, and I'm going to finish it off with a square. So let me just trim over here and trim over here. And let's see, this one is, I wonder if it's a single edge. So let me just try a square over here. Okay, so curvature here, I'm going to have to turn these off. I'm going to turn explicit control on, 5 and 5. Okay, so that looks pretty good. At least we got curvature over here. We don't have curvature over here or here, but that can be fixed. So let's try it. So I'm just going to grab a line. Now these surfaces are not natural edge, so I'm going to have to use a line and maybe do a little bit of finessing in order to get that all lined up. Okay, so I got curvature here, but not here. Let me see if I can get it a little bit closer. The CV structure shifted a little bit. And let's see if this one is good. Okay, so that's at least that's curvature. And let's see if this is curvature. Oh, that is not. Okay, so this should be a little bit easier to align. So let me just try that. I'm going to say partial. Okay, I think that should be not too hard to fix. Okay, so I think I'm okay with how things are. So let me just clean this up and I'm going to try to get the continuity matched up. So I'm going to say curvature on all sides. Let's see. I'm going to just do this one like that. Okay, so I would say that's good enough. Oh, actually, you know what? This should not be rebuilt. So I'm going to just turn explicit control off like that. So only the CV structures are good. And let's check to make sure that the continuity on all sides is good. Okay, so it's not curvature here. Oh, that's a little bit more off than before. That's weird, actually. Oh, okay, so it says curvature, but I'm a little bit skeptical because it was only curvature on partial part of the surface. So I'm going to check surface continuity. Oh, it is curvature, so that's excellent. Okay, so that should be an easy fix. That might be a little bit more difficult, but let's try it. So I'm just going to trim this surface away. Or is it this one? Okay, so it is this one. And I'm going to just delete the construction history over here. And I'm just going to, first of all, just try edge. Oh, there we go. Easier than I thought. Okay, so let me just delete the construction history. We got curvature on sides, so I'm pretty happy with that one. This one, on the other hand, it might be a little bit more difficult. Okay, so let me just untrim first. And I'm just going to see if I can use... Okay, so this one is good. I'm going to try to use a ball corner tool in order to make this. I am not confident that it's going to succeed, but it's worth a try. So let's let me just extend these surfaces first. Okay, and let me just save first. And let's try the ball corner tool. Okay, so it's going to be curvature on sides, explicit control on. I'm going to click these three like this, and that's going to a fourth edge. Okay, so it says okay, so it looks like the fourth edge might not work. So let me just trim it and see if that will work. Well, even if it works, because it is not a traditional type of ball corner over here. Okay, so that's not going to work. Okay, so if that's the case, I would have to manually build this. So let's give that a go. Okay, so I'm just going to extend this one over here like this, and I'm going to be using this in order to trim these over here. So I'm just going to go to the rear view. I'm going to project here, and I'm going to project here like this. Or maybe I should probably project normal so that it's playing out a little. Well, yeah, I think that should be okay. Either that, or I can create a surface. I think that might be better. So let's try that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, well, first of all, let me just create a rail. So I'm just going to grab it here. I'm going to grab somewhere over here. I'm going to grab here, and I'm going to grab somewhere over here like this. And let's just take a look at from the rear view. Like this. I think that should create a decent shape for us. So let's try that. Okay, so I'm just going to grab rail. It's going to be 1 and 1. Like this. And it's going to be 1 and 1 over here also. Okay, so I think well, I think the shape is not that bad. So let's trim it. So because it's already, well, actually, you know what? Let me just extend this just a little bit. I'm just going to extend, not that one. I'm just going to extend the surface just a little bit so that it's actually above this fillet over here. And I'm going to do the same thing over here like that. I don't know why it just grabs that one. Okay, so let me just try again like that. And now I'm going to intersect this one with this one, and I'm going to intersect this one with this one. Okay, so I'm just going to trim convert this one like that, and I'm going to trim convert this one like this, and this over here can be deleted, and this curve here can be deleted also. Now the original fillet that can be hidden like this, and now let me just try putting off a line. So I'm just going to align this piece over here, and I'm going to align this piece over here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. It's going to be edge on this side, and I'm going to align this side over here like that. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm just going to delete the construction history over here, and now let's create a curve for this one. Okay, so because this is sort of following this one, basically it's on default, you know, there's an edge over here. So I'm just going to align it there using insert. I'm just going to duplicate this, and I'm going to align the curve over here like that. The curve and surface can be deleted, and now I'm just going to make sure that the CV structure is matching. So I'm just going to push this one like that, push this, push this one like that. And I'm going to align this side, grab the curve, edge. I'm going to push this one like that, and I'm going to push this one like that so that the CV structure between the curve and the surface is matching a little bit better. Okay, so it looks like well, I guess it is also view dependent, so I'll say this is good enough, and let's align it. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the surface. Oops. I'm going to grab the surface, and I'm going to just project like this. I'm going to delete the curve, and I'm going to just do a trim convert over here. This original can be hidden, and now I'm going to go back here and align this one. So I'm just going to align this piece over here. It's going to be edge on both sides. Now this shouldn't change, but this one might. Okay, so edge on both sides. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to make sure that this is also curvature continuous. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, so it looks like it's failing tangency a little bit. Not a lot, but I do have to. Now, I believe I might have not met curvature on all sides, but at least it needs to be tangent. Tangent is absolute bare minimum. Okay, so we got at least tangent there. Curvature might be a little bit difficult. Okay, so I'll just say tangent is good enough. Okay, and let me just delete the construction history over here. Now, this is a extremely difficult corner with a very odd shape. So I'll say tangency is good enough and just let it go. Okay, so let's go over to this side, and I'm just going to create a blend curve like this. I'm going to just make sure that it is aligned well. Okay, so I'm going to have to come back to this. So let me just reboot and we'll get back to it. Okay, welcome back, and we'll just start where we left off. Okay, so I just reopened the MSAID version of the file, so I think everything's okay. Let me just make sure the quality is back up, and okay, so at least it made it. So let me just do a square. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 is going to be curvature, 3 is going to be curvature, and 4 is going to be curvature. And I'm going to turn explicit control on, 5 and 5. Well, actually, you know what? Let's try just with collinear option on. 1, 3, and 4. Okay, so it does need explicit control. Okay, so the shape seems a little bit odd, so it probably needs a little bit of adjustment here and there. So I think that one's not working as well. Okay, so maybe something like this. Okay, so we are failing curvature on 3 sides, but at least the highlight looks good. So let's find out what's going on. So I'm just going to turn these on, show max label, show come on, and I'm going to click here and here. Okay. So it looks like it's this corner that's causing a bit of a problem. So let me just zoom in and okay. So if that's the case, I would say that's probably good enough. I'm just going to delete the construction history over here, and I'm going to just make sure that this corner is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to project over here using the edge, and I'm going to check the surface continuity. Okay, so it looks like it's a failing tangency. So I'm going to have to align this one over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a line. I'm going to actually delete the curved surface that was here. Just grab a line. It's going to be G2. I'm going to use project like this and just align. Okay, so looks like we got tangency all on sides, but it's failing curvature on all of them also. I'm thinking that it might be due to the flatness of this surface or not. Looks like that's actually not flat. So I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of okay, so I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of adjustment on all the surfaces and to see if I can make them curvature. Okay, so I'm just going to start with this one over here. I'm going to say just curvature over here, position influence to max. That actually fails it. I don't know why. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just align position influence to max. Okay, so if this is the case, I think there's probably something wrong with it over here. So I'm just going to make sure that this position influence is to the max. I don't think that changed the CV structure at all. Yeah, I think that still looks good. Why is this positional? So let me just do a quick check. Okay, so maybe it might be better just to leave that over there. Okay, so let me just try aligning this piece over here because it's failing tangency. It's failing tangency over here. Okay, so I think the curvature deviation is a little bit better than before. So let me see if I can do a little bit of adjustment. Now this is also a very difficult corner, so I don't expect to get curvature on sides, but at least we can try. So it looks like it's actually going up. So let me just see. Okay, we got curvature there and we got curvature here. So we got curvature on 2 sides, and I'm going to see if I can do the same over here. Going to see, go the other way. Okay, we got curvature on 3 sides and we are failing tangency here. So if I at least get tangency on this side, I would say that's probably not bad achievement. But then it looks like it's failing tangency over here too. Okay, so if that's okay, so let me just grab this one. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to try to get tangency for now. So I'm just going to say tangent, because right now with all the combs here like that, that's actually not giving me the result that I want. I'm just going to delete these locators, and I'm going to say G2 on the this side like this. And let's see. Well, first of all, let's try a line. So I'm just going to grab tangency over here. Oops. Let me grab this one, and I'm going to just looks like that's actually failing it. Project works a little bit better. Looks like the numbers are a little bit more tolerable. Okay, so I would say that's good enough, and let me just see if I can just improve this a little bit. Oh, okay, looks like I can. So we got curvature there. And we got curvature here. Now it's only tangent here. I'm kind of surprised because this shares the same surface. But it looks like we weren't able to get curvature here. Okay, so with this one, I'm going to guess that it might be a little bit more difficult to get curvature over here. Even with a line, it's not letting me do curvature. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say this is good enough. That said, however, I'm going to see if I can improve the numbers a little bit. So I'm just going to do NUV. Looks like it's doing a little seesaw over here. So let's see if I can just try to get it as close as possible. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to just try to isolate it to this place over here. Well, I mean, looking at the progression, I think I actually might be able to get it a little bit closer. So let's see. So let me just try to get the combs to settle down a little bit. I am getting closer. So let's see. Okay, so get rid of that one and see if I can. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to have to. Okay, instead of 5,000, I'll go 50,000 over here. And let's see if I can get it curvature. And it looks like I might be able to. Okay, so I'm going to just go until it doesn't fail like this. And I might have to touch this one. Okay, so that's good. And let me just adjust this one over here. And this one over here. Oh, okay. So I think this might work. Oh no, that's not working. Oh, okay. So it's a little bit sensitive over here. And God, so close. And there we go. We got curvature on all sides. That's excellent. Okay, so I was kind of surprised that by the fact that we could get curvature at all, because it was a bit of a difficult area with a bit of an odd shape. It's a very tight radius. So, but we were able to achieve it. So let me just delete the curved surface that's over here. Actually, let me just project like this, and let me just trim over here and here like this, and we got a nice corner over here. Okay, so let me just make sure the color is good, and here it is. Very nice highlight. So I'm pretty happy with the result over there. Okay, so let's continue on and do this area over here. Okay, so I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to grab chord, surface fillet, chord G2. It's going to be I believe it was a 3. Let's check the size. Yes, it is 3. So I'm just going to be doing the same thing over here. So I'm just going to grab surface fillet over here. I'm just going to grab all these surfaces like this. Now this might not work, but let's find out. Okay, so it looks like it works. I'm going to say edge line over here. Okay, and I'm going to see if I can just run it all the way. Now I'm pretty sure this is not going to work, so I'm not going to even bother running this. I'll have to do this manually. Now I'm not going to, well, yeah, I'll say just default for now, and this probably needs a rebuild. So that's it. However, let me just do a Bezier surface, see if I can get a single span surface on all of them. So that's good. Now it is possible that the internal tangent, internal continuity might be a little bit off, but I'm going to just ignore it and just move on. That said, however, I'm going to try to fix some of these surfaces over here. So actually, let me just grab this one. CV structure is good because it's a single span, and I just copied it, and I'm going to switch it back to Bezier like this, and I'm going to rework that one, so that should be okay. So now you'll see that this is actually in 2 pieces, so I'm just going to, oh, it is a, okay, so there is a span. All right, so looks like that needs work. I'm pretty sure the internal continuity might be a little bit an issue, but at least it made it. So I'm just going to ignore it and just move on. Save some time over here. Okay, that said, however, this one needs work. So let me just delete the curved surface that's over here. And this one over here, I'm going to try to make it a single span. So let me see. Okay, so right now I'm just going to delete the curved surface because it's based on the Bezier surface work. So there's two curved surfaces. So let me just project a line like this. And I'm going to reduce a span like that. Make sure the CV structure stays somewhat same. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to do edge. Okay, position influence. Oh, okay, so same thing over here. But we got curvature. Oh, you know what? I think I need to do project align on the lower side also. So I'm just going to delete the curved surface that's over here, and I'm just going to project align using view. Should be okay. Oh, actually, let me try normal. Looks like the CV structure is a little bit off. So if that's okay, so let me just see if I can rebuild it using square. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here. And I'm just going to make sure boundary blend is still good. Cooling your option will be turned off. Curvature on 4 is going to be turned off. And now the CV structure is nicely lined up. So that's good. So I'm just going to delete the fillet piece that was original over here. And let's see what I need to do. Okay, so I think everything here looks good. I'm going to guess that this is probably off. Yeah, it's a little bit off. Okay, so you'll see that sometimes, well, actually most of the times, surface fillet, there is a limitation to what the surface fillet can do. So a lot of the times you have to manually build it yourself. But let's just do this and see if the well, it's going to be curvature on both sides here, but it's oh wow, it's curvature on that side too. Okay, so if that's the case, let me just check this side and see if I can just do a quick fix over here as well. So I'm just going to do a freeform blend on both sides. I'm going to check if it's curvature here, and which it is. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so overall, not too bad. I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. And let's go over to this side and just do a ball corner over here. Now, I'm hoping that the ball corner will give us a nice result. Oh, okay, so that needs a fix. Now, I'm kind of surprised because this is based on Bezier surface, but it looks like the surface is a little bit weird. So I'm just going to rebuild it just by itself. Make sure the arrow direction is good. And the CV structure is a little bit better than before. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that this retained curvature continuity, which it did. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. I'm going to extend this piece over here and this piece over here. And we are ready for ball corner tool. Okay, so let me just trim this over here, and actually, you know what? Let me see if I can just trim this also. So I'm just going to extend this curved surface over here like this, and I'm going to extend this curved surface over here like that. And let's just trim. Okay, so, well, actually, let me see if I can just try it without trimming. So let me just untrim this piece also. Okay, and I'm just going to try the ball corner tool. 1, 2, 3. This is going to the fourth corner. Okay, so it actually built it. I'm just going to do explicit control. It's going to be 5 and 5 with curvature. And I'm just going to make sure the edge ratio is a little bit better. I might make it like this. Okay, so it built it, and actually that looks pretty good. That's it. However, continuity is going to be a bit of an issue, so I'm going to try and see if I can align that a little bit better. Okay, so I'm just going to see if adjusting the ratio is going to give us a little bit better result, which it looks like it is. So I would say this is probably the best scenario. We got curvature on two sides. It's only off by 0.2. So I think this is probably the best case scenario that we can work with. So I'm just going to delete the construction history over here. And I'm going to just align over here like this. That's curvature over there. That was easy. And that is not curvature over here. And that just ruins it. So let me just go back. Okay, so I'm just going to turn continue on. It's looks like it's a very small deviation that I have to match. So let me just delete the construction history over here. I'm going to grab the CV and 50,000. Oh, okay, I think that should be easy to match. And there it is. Curvature on all sides. Pretty happy with that. Okay, so I'm just going to delete the carbon surface over here. I'm going to reproject using these edges over here like this. I'm going to trim this piece over here. And this one, I'm going to have to wait for that corner over there. That said, however, I'm pretty happy with what we have so far. This was a lot more effortless than I had initially anticipated, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so I think this is a pretty good spot to stop. We will continue building this in the next tutorial. Okay, so that's it for part 180. We will continue building in the next video, and thank you guys for watching.